The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League. And by Frost Brewed, Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer.
And now, please welcome the Los Angeles Kings. And now, please welcome your San Jose Sharks! And now, the starting lineup for your San Jose Sharks. Starting in the forward position, number 12, Patrick Marleau. Number 19, Joe Thornton. And number 68, Melker Karlsson. On defense, number 44, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. And number 88, Brent Burns. And starting in goal tonight for your Sharks, number 31, Antti Niemi. The assistant coaches are Jay Woodcroft and Tim Johnson. Associate coach Larry Robinson. And the head coach of your Sharks, Todd McClellan. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your hats to honor America. Presenting the colors is the United States Navy. With us tonight to perform our national anthem, please welcome back the Symphony Silicon Valley and Chris Allen.
When you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we walked, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was
Chris Allen with a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. I'm Dave Strader as we welcome you inside Levi Stadium. Our celebration of Hockey Weekend in America continues with this California rivalry. Playoff implications for both teams as we take a look at the starting goalies presented by Honda. Jonathan Quick, a career-high 14th consecutive start, and why not? The regular season numbers are good. The numbers the last 6 games, all victories for Los Angeles, are spectacular. And at the other end of the ice, it is Antti Niemi. He has been terrific in the 3 meetings against Los Angeles so far this year, of which the Sharks have won 2. Up in the broadcast booth with my partner, Eddie Olczyk. We've got Brian Engblom right at center ice inside the glass. The officials tonight, Gord Dwyer and Dan O'Halloran. Steve Barton and David Brisebois are the linesmen. And we are ready for the 4th of 5 meetings, and safe to say the most special in this season series between the Sharks and the Kings. Joe Thornton, Anze Kopitar at center ice. LA has not played since a win on the road in Denver Wednesday night. And San Jose coming off a terrific effort a couple of nights ago in Dallas. As the puck skips ahead deep into the LA zone. And we have an icing call. And Edzo, with all we've seen and heard, I'm going to borrow from Al Michaels what he said 35 years ago tomorrow leading into the USA-Soviet game. Manifestly, it is a hockey game. That's the challenge, isn't it? The focus?
Well, it is, and that's the greatest challenge for the coaches to explain to their players. The Kings went through it last year at Dodger Stadium. San Jose's going through it for the first time. Simplify your game and don't get caught up in anything other than doing your job and trying to figure out a way to get 2 points.
Yemi had to make a save off a Gaborik chance on a faceoff, and now the puck is out of play. Both of the teams skated here yesterday under very different conditions. San Jose was on the ice first. It was all very sunny outside, and then they had their family and friends for quite a period of time. Edzo in between the 2 skates, and then the LA Kings came out later.
Yeah, to come out and just kind of get your bearings, get the sense of the surroundings, and see how the ice, but the ice certainly looks in very good condition. I'm sure Brian will be able to fill us in as the night goes on.
Ryder wins the draw back to Muzzin, and a shot here is blocked to the corner. That 70s line 2.0, if you will, a second edition of the line with Tanner Pearson still on the injured list, and Dwight King doing a great job in a very different way, filling in here with Carter and Toffoli. Now a turnover, and the Sharks trying to take advantage. Winkles couldn't get too far. Muzzin recovered very well.
Oh, did he ever? That pass was in a bad spot for him. He didn't expect it. It ended up being on his backhand side. It should have been an easy pass for Toffoli from the corner, and that really double-crossed Muzzin. He had to haul it to get back into position and nullify that play.
I think Toffoli was surprised, Brian, that Muzzin jumped in like he did that quickly, and I think that he was expecting to be maybe about 10, 15 feet, a little bit deeper. And I think that's maybe what caught him surprised about how hard that pass was.
Maybe he didn't recognize him in white pants.
New look uniforms for both of these teams, to be sure. LA in the white and gray sweaters with the white pants. A little bit more familiar look, the teal and black of the San Jose Sharks, and we see a lot of their colors throughout this stadium. Here in Santa Clara, which is about 8 miles from their normal home ice, the SAP Center down in San Jose. Now Doughty, you may have heard somebody say get the line, and he got center ice before he shot it in. Big John Scott back in the lineup. He's only played once in the last 8 games. A little bit more of a veteran look, perhaps, for Todd McClellan, the head coach of the Sharks.
And some size, because you have to match up that way against the LA Kings.
Now Jordan Nolan fakes one way, tries to go the other. He's pinned up against the glass. There is John Scott trying to get involved as it goes around to the far side. Irwin will take a big hit there from Clifford. Now it comes out to the line. Doughty, nifty move between the circles, poked off his stick. And now it slides just wide of the San Jose goal. Held in momentarily on the near side, but Scott knocks down Jordan Nolan. And it's out at center ice, and Nolan will take it right back into the San Jose zone. Both teams looking to make changes. Edward Vlasic plays it around the far side. Muzzin gets there for the Kings. Sends it toward the net. Score! May have been deflected on the way through, but the LA Kings have the first goal after being shut out in Dodger Stadium last year.
Well, Kyle Clifford going to fly by right in front of Antti Niemi. And I'm not sure if he gets a piece of it, but certainly impaired the vision of the Sharks goaltender, but a quick release by Jake Muzzin. A giveaway by the Sharks in behind their own net. Watch the left part of your screen. Muzzin is there. He's waiting, and right there, it looks like Clifford redirects that puck past Antti Niemi.
Absolutely. See how it changes and goes down? It probably dropped about 1.5 or 2 feet. Antti Niemi had it there. He had his hands up. He was ready to catch it and went by him on the short side. It was definitely deflected by Clifford.
That'll be just his 3rd goal of the season, but one of the many things going right for the LA Kings during this winning streak is they're starting to get some contribution from that bottom 6 group of forwards.
That's what made them, it has made them so dangerous, is that they can't have scoring up and down the line.
Now Carlson able to slow down. Kopitar plays it ahead, and a chance here for Marleau. Fakes the shot, now tried to let it go. He's taken hard by Muzzin into the end wall. And now it comes around on the right wing side, and the LA captain, Dustin Brown, has it slapped off of his stick.
This opportunity there for Marleau to let the puck go a little bit earlier there. Muzzin got that stick in the way, as you mentioned, Straight. Anytime you get a chance, that puck's got to get directed to the net, so the guys without the puck recognize you're not going to try to make pretty fancy plays.
Couture with a wrist shot that is handled here by Jonathan Quick as we go inside the glass with Brian Engblom.
What an environment this is. Incredible. I'm looking at it up at all the lights and everything, and all the 70,000 people here. The players, you know, are just surrounded by it. The ice surface looks really good right now. The puck is sliding pretty good. It's not flipping around too much. It has a real hollow sound to it, like it does most of the time in these outdoor games. When all the players skate by, it's like a herd of buffalo. Is it ever loud? And it's almost a little bit springy. I talked to some of the players yesterday at practice, and the ice surface even seems a little bit springy. But so far, I'm really impressed with the conditions, and the players are playing fast.
Almost that sound that you hear when you are actually out on a pond or a lake.
Yeah, exactly.
That same hollow sound, exactly.
Now Justin Braun plays it ahead. Here is Pavelski trying to slide it across. Nearly pulled it out. Now Couture. Then it right out in front of the LA goal. Sharks trying to get something going on the cycle here in the LA end of the ice. It is 1-0 in favor of the Kings on the Kyle Clifford goal as it's cleared back out, and Braun, number 61, backs up and hands it off to his partner Brendan Dillon, who gives it right back. Braun plays it ahead. Shepard now will send it into the LA zone. Later on the right wing side, and it's chipped by Williams and picked up by Derek Stoll. He had a man over on the far side, but Shepard got a stick in the way. Now Niemi plays it up the near side as they're just announcing the goal officially here to Kyle Clifford. Now Robin Regeer on the far side. Matt Nieto battling with him as the puck comes back toward the LA blue line. Now deflected across the San Jose line, and Trevor Lewis trying to make a play on it. Knocked away from him. Nick Shore, number 37 there as well for the Kings, but the Sharks turn it back the other way as it's dumped into the LA zone. Jonathan Quick directing a little traffic. Regeer threw it off the boards, intercepted right back in Quick. He makes the stop. Now Tyler Kennedy trying to get to it, and he is angled off the puck, and it's flipped back toward the San Jose zone.
Except for that last shot from the point, the Kings have been pretty efficient inside their own zone. Haven't spent much time there yet.
Andrew Desjardins with it now, coming off a 2-goal performance in that win in Dallas. He made it 2-0 and 3-0. Talking to Tom McClellan yesterday, he loved his team's game up until that point as this comes outside the zone. Not according to the close to 70,000 linesmen. Now Daryl Sutter, you see his numbers, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, has also coached the San Jose Sharks. In fact, the only man that has been a coach behind both benches. And Tom McClellan recently with his 300th career win, the second fastest to get there behind only Bruce Boudreau.
Daryl Sutter was scowling a little bit there, which is certainly not unusual, but turnover by Nolan through the middle of the ice, I think, was a big reason for the extra scowl there. Fortunate it was offside.
Big hit by Dillon on Gabrick. Now Gabrick again sends it down low. Here's Dustin Brown with it. Brown hanging on, looking to make a play. The LA captain been rejuvenated, it seems, the last couple of games, going back on this top line with Kopitar.
Looks like there's going to be a hold here on Dillon for grabbing Gabrick. Power play coming for the Kings.
On the delay call, backhand try by Kopitar. Didn't miss by much, up high on the glass. And on the touch-up by Joe Thornton, we will get the official call. The LA Kings have a 1-0 lead in this spectacular venue, and they will go on the power play when we return to the Coors Light Stadium Series.
Welcome back to Santa Clara, California, and Levi's Stadium, which is home to many big events. It belongs to the NHL tonight, and about a year from now, it's going to belong to the Super Bowl. And if you don't have tickets on the 50-yard line, 10 rows up, feel free to come all the way up to the roof here. It's an amazing setup. There's a bar up here, VIP access. Fans can mingle near the stadium lighting, which is certainly a unique point of view. And Dave, I'm just going to hang out up here, take in the scene. It's pretty great.
I don't blame you at all, Carolyn. LA Kings on the power play.
Edzo, I walked upstairs with Strades there yesterday. He just got his breath back 5 minutes ago.
That's all right. This puck deflected up over the glass and into the pretend San Francisco Bay with a couple of shark fins sticking out over at that end of the ice surface. They've done just a terrific job with the look to honor Northern California. They weren't going to bring in fake snow or try to make it look like a winter snow globe like they've done in so many of the other events. And of course, there have been many where they haven't had to worry about creating a snow event, as we saw in Ann Arbor with the big house for the Winter Classic of 2014.
This weather is much more preferable, by the way.
King hands it off for a chance here. Left hand save by Niemi, and the puck is cleared by Pavelski. So LA going to work on the power play. They were 1 for 4 in their most recent game, the win over Colorado, but it has not been a big part of their winning streak. That power play goal in Denver on Wednesday night, the only power play goal they have scored during this 6-game streak. They have done virtually all their damage 5-on-5, where they have been a dominant team, Edzo, for the last 3 or 4 years.
I talked about it in the pregame show with Catherine, and a guy like Drew Doughty, who plays the majority of the power play, he's got 5 goals on the year. He's still looking for his first power play goals. I think that speaks to kind of what you're talking about there. Such an important part to this team.
Held in by McNabb, hands it off from the far corner. LA continues to work with just under a minute remaining in the Brendan Gillen minor penalty. A screenshot here sails just wide of Niemi, and it's picked up by the Sharks and sent all the way down the ice by Marleau.
Nice play by Justin Bromner to box out McBain as he was coming looking for that reaction off the boards, but he did a good job of sealing it off, and the Sharks were able to clear.
Kopitar takes the line and then takes a big hit along the inboard from Burns as it comes out straight away. McBain hands it off. Kopitar backs up a bit, goes back to McBain for the one-timer, and that didn't get very far, blocked out at the line. And Kopitar hands it again, drifting down toward the hash mark. Takes a look down low. Gabber tries to stuff it, and then it's set just wide of the Sharks' goal, and now it is hammered all the way down the ice.
Couple of good saves from Antti Niemi.
Nothing fancy about that last play to the net. Down into the corner, right next to the net, walk it out and try to go for the jam play.
Now sent around on the far side. And the Sharks back at full strength. Just one shot on goal for the Kings on that power play, although they were dangerous on a couple of other chances. And now it is Dillon who starts it back the other way and lays it softly off the boards and back into the LA zone. Joe Thornton, giveaway there, but the Kings couldn't take advantage. Now Vlasic hustled over to hold it in. Now Thornton again for Carlson. Carlson looking to cut in, goes behind the net. Melker Carlson, a young man who's fit in very nicely, playing with Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau.
4 years in the Swedish league. He's not a young kid. He's 24 years old. He plays like an experienced guy, not like a 20-year-old.
And he could really push the pace, and that certainly helps a guy like Thornton.
Green with a shot for the Kings toward the San Jose net, but it was deflected to the far side. Now Nolan with it, drops it back, and Green could not get there to hold it in, and the Kings will go back and tag up as the puck goes back deep into the Shark zone. Burns a nice little play off the boards to himself, off the stick of Scott, and the Kings dump it right back into the San Jose end.
Seen a couple of funny bounces in behind Antti Niemi, his right shoulder. Been a couple of crazy Karens. There's something to keep an eye on as this game continues.
Now Dillon will chase it back down. It will be an icing call here against Los Angeles.
Let's take a look at that power play. Andrei Kopitar, most things flow through him, but this is just a simple play to Gaborik. Puts it right on the tape. Gaborik just has to take a step and a half and has a chance to go for the jam play.
Well, strength in numbers. Good play there from Dwight King to move that puck across. And Jake Muzzin, who assisted on the first goal of the game, looking to get involved on a score sheet again.
Now Gillen through traffic, but Nolan deflected it to the far side. Kyle Clifford has the game's only goal. Got a stick out of Sharks, get it back, and it's fired in just wide.
I think that went off the outside of the post. I hear a little bit of a ting there.
And with Pavelski, who chases the puck down and lobs it back in deep. Covered though by the Kings and sent off the near boards and out to center right.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pass there from Logan Couture to get the puck out to Pavelski, who found the soft little area in the coverage for the Kings in their own zone.
Now Shore, number 37, gets it deep. That line will immediately turn to the bench for a change. San Jose changing personnel as well as we've gone past the halfway point of this first period. Long pass here, deflect, no icing. Regier will have to go back and play it. Hurdle steps into him, and now it's angled off the near boards. And played out to center ice. Toffoli across the line. This is the line that's been so hot over the 6-game winning streak. The three have combined for 13 goals and 13 assists, as this will be an icing against the Sharks.
Just like the 6-game winning streak that Los Angeles had at the beginning of the year, it was that 70s line part 1.0, I guess, that carried them. And in this 6-game winning streak, no different. It's been Jeff Carter's line again. Different variation of it has really been piling the points up.
And Dustin Brown, who you saw there, has played the most games in this rivalry of any Los Angeles King. This is his 61st time he has faced the San Jose Sharks in his career. Now Toffoli trying to bear down on the corner. Puck comes free, and Joe Thornton has it. Thornton tied for 4th in assists over the National Hockey League coming into today. He still gets it done.
Just so good with that puck in the offensive zone, be able to buy some time, pull up in the offensive zone, draw some defense to him, and then be able to distribute that puck.
The Road to the Stadium Series starts on Epix, a 4-part all-access series with the Sharks and Kings Tuesdays at 10, 9 Central. Watch live on Epix at NHL.com or anytime with a free trial on Epix.com. Just had a chance to finish episode 3 this morning, and just a terrific job by the entire crew and both organizations providing the access. Some great stuff on there. And Thornton angles it ahead now for Marleau. Now Green getting in there as well, and another icing call on the faceoff back into the Sharks' end.
Well, it shows you the puck is sliding pretty well.
Yeah,
and fast. That's about 5 icings in a row now that we've had here.
I'll tell you what, guys, I love the size of these numbers on the jerseys
Yes.
and on the sleeves. I mean, you could be in San Jose, you know that's Patrick Marleau or that's Thomas Hurdle. I mean, these numbers are absolutely fantastic for people that might be sitting a couple hundred yards away, or for TV viewers as well. It's just outstanding job by the National Hockey League to have that.
Regier for Doughty. Lobs it in, and a save made by Niemi. He made sure he got it over to the far boards, but the Kings get to it first. Now it's taken away and cleared up the near side. Doughty got a stick at it for the Sharks. Able to send it back inside the LA zone.
Good thing for them. They wanted to make a change after icing the puck. They just got it out and were able to make wholesale changes.
Doughty hammers one in on Niemi. Blockers that up high on the glass. Now it's taken away by the Kings. Nice drop pass here for a chance. Niemi, the save in tight on Kopitar.
Beautiful play by Dustin Brown.
Now Nieto trying to get a stick on it to clear it out of there. Shepard, his line mate there, and now Nieto, who we found out from the Epic Series is the team DJ and has mixed his own digital victory song, which we'll have to wait and see whether they get a chance to play it in the locker room here at Levi Stadium after the game. Out to the line now, McNabb on another turnover by the Sharks. The shot here sails up over top of the glove of Antti Niemi.
That was actually a good play by Irwin. It was Couture who just should have handled that one, just missed it, and turns into a continued offensive barrage here for Los Angeles.
Jammed up along the near board. Lewis trying to slide it through traffic. Jared Stoll was right in front of Niemi. Now here's Justin Williams along with Stoll. Working on the forecheck in the San Jose zone. It comes out to the high corner shot here, just high and wide. That was Trevor Lewis who circles back to the blue line. And now he'll get back into the front of the net area with Green getting back, and that puck deflected well out of play.
Great shot block there from Joe Pavelski.
When we come back, we will hear from San Jose head coach Todd McLellan.
Coach, extraordinary environment and circumstances here. Are you pleased with the way your team has adapted?
Not yet. We've got some work to do. Obviously, they hemmed us in the end here a little bit, but we've got to get used to moving the puck a little bit quicker, moving it a lot firmer than we have, and getting going the other way.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Now, Brian and I had a chance to visit with Todd McLellan just as the team practice was ending yesterday. He was very honest in his assessment of his opponent, the LA Kings. He said they look like the LA Kings of the last 2 or 3 years, doing all the things you expect of them, and they believe. And he said that's what we've got to get to, that our team believes. As it comes back to the line now with Justin Williams handing it off on the far side. A shot here by Regier, ends up wide of the net. And it's picked up by the Sharks. Pavelski lays it across on the far side, and Braun will get it in deep. Now Logan Couture with it. Trying to spin away from Stoll. Wingles tries to hand it off in the slot area. Now it comes back behind the LA net. Williams takes a hit from Pavelski. Couture chasing after it, but Doughty comes up with it. Now backhanded up the right wing side. It took a little bit of time, but the LA Kings were patient against the San Jose forecheck. They get the good exit and dump it in on the Emmy and force a face-off in the Shark zone.
Well, it is a beautiful night, and this allows us to get that airplane view here. We're going to go back to the goal. No clouds to impair our vision here. There's Kyle Clifford. The puck's going to work itself up to the point. The shot from Jake Muzzin. You see Clifford go to the front of the net. Beautiful little redirection. And that is a great look from up on top of Levi Stadium.
Kyle Clifford's been involved in one of only 3 fights that have taken place in a regular season outdoor game in the National Hockey League. That happened last year when he battled with Anaheim's Tim Jackman in the Stadium Series game at George Chavez Ravine. Now Kennedy pinned to the boards by Shore, who lost his helmet after the faceoff. Now here is Shore coming on the backhand. Sends it out to the point. Wrist shot here through traffic, low and wide. Now Shore gets it right back to the front. Goes all the way around to Brayden McNabb again on the left point. Into the face-off circles to the right of Niemi. It's picked up by Irwin. And finally, it's backhanded by Hannon to center ice.
Boy, LA has really exploited San Jose Sharks in their own zone by using their defensemen. They've made at least 15 passes from low to high using their defensemen in the offensive part of the game.
Now Scott plays it ahead. He's got a man open. Joe Thornton waiting, patient. Still has it. Now he lets it go toward the net. Quick is down, the puck deflected wide. Dumped right back toward the side of the crease. And turned aside by Quick. Now sent right back through the blue paint area. Picked up by Thornton, who circles again. Toffoli trying to stay with him. Joe Thornton able to get a shot away that's deflected up over top of the net.
That shifted the game for the Sharks offensively.
Now Thornton again. That bounces off the skate of Toffoli. And the Kings get a little bit of a reprieve. We'll see if the Sharks can keep this momentum going off of that shift. Muzzin taking hard to the boards. The turnover is forced. And the puck jumps away from Thornton. And he'll try to track it back down. It's chopped in toward Quick. And he covers it up just outside the crease. 4:09 remaining here in the first. The Kyle Clifford goal has the Kings in front as you're watching the NHL Stadium Series presented by Coors Light. March 7, America returns ringside on NBC. Premier Boxing Champions debuts with 2 fights in one night live in primetime. Premier Boxing Champions Saturday, March 7th. And one of the names on the card you saw there is Robert Guerrero. Here he is supporting his team, the San Jose Sharks. Said in an article the other day, Edzo, he wants to be on the card for the first major fighting event here at Levi Stadium.
Looks like he can throw with his left.
Depending on what John Scott and Kyle Clifford may get into tonight, he may not be the first to fight in this venue, but Wingles drops it back. Here was Dillon.
See if the Sharks can take some momentum from that last shift. Best sustained pressure offensively the whole game.
Doesn't connect with Couture at center ice, and yet another icing call.
The depth perception in these arenas when you're playing outside is so different. Antti Niemi and a couple of pucks that are above the height of the boards, I think has struggled to catch them. He's sort of fought them off. Because the glass and because the crowd is so much farther away than what they're used to, the way the puck looks, the way the game looks is a little bit different, especially when the puck is airborne and above the height of the boards. I'm standing beside Kelly Rudy, who's former goaltender who's doing work for Canadian television, and he said he played in an outdoor game back in '91, and he said he had exactly the same issue. It's really tough to see the puck when it's above the height of the boards.
It's almost a comparable in baseball. When a ball goes up into the sun, you lose it in the sun. It's the aspect where you lose the puck in the backdrop with the fans and the crowd being so far away from the playing surfaces. It's not hard to lose that puck. So again, the coaches have told their players, anytime you get an opportunity is to go ahead and fire it at the net. And the other players on the ice have to realize is that maybe be a chance for a second or third chance opportunity. Just get that puck to the net.
Big hit by Muzzin in the neutral zone as the puck played by Jonathan Quick back behind his own net. Kings get to it quickly. Out to Jeff Carter. Carter across the line, hands it off. Toffoli with a shot. The right pass save by Niemi. It'll be chased down now by Patrick Marleau. Marleau slides it across. Burns joining the rush. One of the top scoring defensemen in the league. Cuts right into the puck off his stick. And recovered by Dwight King, who sends it back to the near side. Marleau intercepts. But his centering pass picked off on the Kings, able to get it back to center ice. Now Niemi hands it off to Burns. Shepard with it now, angles it off the near board. And it's played back into the LA zone. Kings have it now with about 2.5 remaining here in the first period. Brian, looking at the flags at the top of the stadium, they're blowing pretty significantly. Do you feel much of the breeze at ice level?
No, not right now. Interesting before, though, Dave, the wind comes and goes, and it is exactly the opposite direction that the flags are blowing. It swirls around inside this building. But right now, it's pretty calm down here.
Now Hurdle hands it off to the corner, pass to the slot. Save made by Quick. A scramble outside the crease, and Quick, I believe, has it covered. As now we start to get a little bit of the snarl, as Doc likes to say, when you get two rivals together.
That hit Quick right in that plastic protector that hangs from the chin of the mask.
What a nice play here, Nieto and Hurdle. Move the puck, move yourself. Beautiful little give and go, and there's that high, hard shot on Jonathan Quick that Brian was mentioning.
Those little give and goes are really effective down low in the zone at any time. You isolate one defender, pass the puck into the corner, move your feet, as you said, Edzo, get it back, and right away you're in a good scoring position.
Career numbers against the San Jose Sharks for Jonathan Quick, who has a 2.0 goals against in the 6-game winning streak and a save percentage of .928. That's how good he's been. Now it's recovered by Muzzin, who slides it along on the far side. Trevor Lewis and Matt Green were there. The puck comes to the middle of the ice, and the Kings able to clear it back out. And Brendan Dillon backs up into his own zone. Slides it across now for Braun. Braun for Andrew Desjardins, who backhands it into the LA zone and skips in wide of Quick. Kings get to it, around the glass, and out of play. Take a look at Kings goalie Jonathan Quick, tonight's player profile with insights from SAP, and I mentioned his numbers on the right, as impressive as they are. Look prior to that, the 10 games he played prior to that, just one win and a save percentage of .874.
Incredible turnaround. It goes hand in hand, right? If you get goaltending, you're going to have success. And think about the last 3 games. It's only given up 4 goals in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
You're going to give your team a lot of confidence. And right now there's a lot of swagger, a lot of positive vibes going up and down that lineup for the LA Kings.
And this could be a milestone game for him. He's got 199 wins to this point.
Brian, you and I did the game in Denver the other night. We make saves like he did against Alex Tanguay. It's not just the numbers, it's just how he gets into the heads of shooters when he's on one of these kind of rolls.
Yeah, there is no doubt he made some absolute brilliant saves.
Trying to be too fine instead of just going ahead and shoot right for the middle of the net.
He reads the play so well. He was so far ahead of some of them.
Marleau shot is blocked. Another chance is blocked by Quick, and now he pounces out at the side of the net. and freezes it with 1:06 remaining here in the first.
Well, the Sharks finding their game a little bit. Good shot block there from Drew Doughty, and then a great follow-up there from Patrick Marleau, with staying with the play, coming over, good support, skate right, shoot left, block, and then create an opportunity there following up the rebound.
So a face-off, it seems a rare one at this end of the ice with all the icings the Sharks have had. Pavelski and Carter, two of the best in the business, but Pavelski, as you see, is tossed out of there. And now Wingels will come in, coming off that wrist injury that kept him out for a while. He wins the draw, though, and Burns now sends it, and he scores! Brent Burns from the boards and finds its way past Jonathan Quick, and the Sharks have tied the game at 1.
Well, think about what just took place. Joe Pavelski, one of the elite face-off leaders in the entire National Hockey League, he gets kicked out of the draw. So instead of Logan Couture coming in, it's Tommy Wingels. Right-handed shot. He wins this draw. Burns comes down the boards and fires this puck and beats Jonathan Quick in between the blocker and the hip.
Jonathan Quick looked completely stunned there. I think because it went between the feet and the legs, I think, of Jeff Carter. He must not have picked it up because he looked behind him after the puck went in the net and was like, what? What happened there? How did that go in?
And Jake Muzzin, who would have went on Brent Burns there when he came down the boards, he broke his stick. And it almost looked like Muzzin got his stick caught in between Joe Pavelski when he was going to the net. And that's why Muzzin had no stick.
Well, Brent Burns has got 16 goals on the year now, one of the highest scoring defensemen in the National Hockey League.
Watch the right part of your screen. Muzzin is there. He loses his stick right there. And that allows Burns to take that open ice down the boards, and not a good goal to give up by Jonathan Quick, for sure. A soft goal from that area of the ice. Didn't look like it was deflected at all. But the big face-off win there from Tommy Wingels.
Came into action, Brent Burns today, tied for third among defensemen in points, but leads them in goals, as Ryan just mentioned, now with 16. As they come back to the line, Vlasic with a shot that's turned aside by Quick. And as you mentioned, San Jose was starting to find their legs, find their game a little bit. And it finally pays off.
Feed off of that, up and down.
Back to the line now, Regier. And to send it in toward Niemi. It bounces off the inboard and played ahead, and this will be an icing call here. Coming up on the Lexus first period intermission preview of tomorrow's Hockey Day in America. And then one of the things I'm really looking forward to, guys, John Fogerty performing live. Put me in, Coach.
Just be back by the start of...
Stay where you are.
I'm ready to play. I should have brought my copy of Willie and the Poor Boys album I've had for 40 years to get it signed.
Still using that record player?
I wish I still had it. Burns plays it up the far side. It's held in momentarily by the Kings, and now they will get to it. Great hustle there to keep it in. As it's slapped toward Niemi, he's forced to make a save.
And Vlasic with a really good clear there because Justin Williams was right there for the loose change.
That was Stoll that had that great effort to keep the play alive.
Now Williams across the line, hits his man on the far side, and that's going to do it. Very loud in here, could not hear any kind of a horn, but the clock hits 3 zeros, and we will step aside and invite you to stick around for the first intermission, the Lexus Intermission Report, and John Fogerty live. We are tied at 1. You're watching the Coors Light Stadium Series from Santa Clara Levi Stadium. On NBCSN is brought to you by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. And by Levi's. You wear jeans, you live in Levi's. Great aerial view of Levi's Stadium as we're getting ready for the start of the second period here in the 2015 Coors Light Stadium Series. The Kings and the Sharks are tied at 1, and we go from a rock and roll Hall of Famer to a USA Hockey Hall of Famer. Dave Strader, pleased to be joined by Eddie Olczyk. And you said in the pregame show with Catherine, we talked about it briefly at the beginning of the game, keep it simple. The Brent Burns goal, I think, was a great example of that. Just get the puck to the net.
Yeah, and after a slow start by the Sharks, I mean, they had 8 giveaways in that first period, but they seemed to kind of get their game simple play on the redirect by Clifford, and then the set face-off play by the San Jose Sharks. Brent Burns was able to go right down the boards. Jake Muzzin snaps the stick in half and just fires it right to the net. So the Sharks have kind of found their game in the last, probably 5 or 6 minutes of that first period.
And Kyle Clifford had the first goal of the game, doing a good job just getting to the front of the net, knowing that that shot was likely coming from the left point. And we are ready for the start of period number 2. Again, this is the 4th of 5 meetings between these rivals. Starting play today, the San Jose Sharks in a playoff spot, one of the wild card positions in the Western Conference. LA just on the outside looking in with the Minnesota Wild right there. All of these points so critical to both of these teams as Joe Thornton moves in for a shot that sails over the glove of Jonathan Quick and around the boards and out to center ice.
And these two teams will face each other on the last day of the regular season in Los Angeles.
Now Thornton trying to keep it alive in the offensive zone. His pass hit a skate. Recovered though by Carlson, whose shot was deflected to the corner. Thornton got it again. Carlson, quick release there, and he didn't miss by much. Trying to go high on the stick side, and now Quick wanted to cover that puck up, but it's swept to the near boards, out to the high slot, and Pavelski is turned aside. Now Joe Pavelski makes a move. Hands it back down to Thornton, slapped off of his stick, and Dustin Brown just making sure he gets it out to center ice.
A couple of nice passes there from Joe Thornton.
And Pavelski is so good at finding those soft areas. Those two guys have tremendous chemistry between each other.
Quick coming out to help out as he pushed that puck to the board. San Jose's come out here with a nice start.
They won some physical battles. Managing the puck very well to start the second period and generate a couple of pucks towards Jonathan Quick.
Now Braun backhands it up the far side. It deflects back into the Shark zone. The Kings would have been offside. They go back and tag up, and the puck is sent back into the LA end of the ice. Picked up now by Shepard. Shepard trying to make a play out near the line, being pressured by King. Muzzin overskates, and now Matt Green, number 2, has it for Los Angeles. Turtle steps into him, and the Kings get it out to center ice. They're trying to move it along, and now it's offside.
I thought Jake Muzzin was one of the most effective players in the game in that first period. He had the puck, made some good plays defensively and offensively. They changed their defense pairs a few games back. He spent a lot of time with Drew Doughty in the past, but they've split that up. He does go with Doughty because Doughty plays 30 minutes a game, but it's Regeer and Doughty most of the time, and Muzzin and Green. So Muzzin and Doughty will overlap again from time to time, and Muzzin's learned a lot from playing with Doughty. He has a lot of confidence with the puck.
Yemi steers it off the near boards, and if you've been watching the Epic series, they chronicled pretty well the injury to Alec Martinez, which came in the first game of this 6-game winning streak on the road in Tampa Bay. A big hit, a legal hit by Cedric Paquette, but it knocked Martinez out of that game, and he has not returned to the lineup, and that's a big hole with Voynov already out.
Trade deadline right around the corner. See if Dean Lombardi, the general manager of the Kings, makes a move in that direction to get some depth. That seems to be a want for a lot of teams in the National Hockey League.
Turned over by the Kings in the neutral zone. Shepard back the other way. Here's Kennedy closing in. He tried to send it in front. Tyler Kennedy, who played in a couple of these outdoor games when a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He has been playing in his 3rd outdoor game. In fact, only Kennedy and Scott Hannon on the San Jose side of things have ever played in an outdoor game. Hannon did it with Washington in the Winter Classic at Heinz Field against Pittsburgh as this puck covered up by Jonathan Quick. A little extracurriculars. John Scott out there, and Clifford comes over to have a conversation with him.
Clifford's a pretty big guy, but John Scott's bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, they're looking to dance at about the 25-yard line there. They're a couple of big customers, and A little bit earlier, you mentioned Tyler Kennedy. He had a chance to shoot this puck here. Back pressure coming from the San Jose Sharks. Nice play from Shepard. Support by Kennedy. Kennedy's got a chance to shoot it right there, but he holds off. Nice play there from Jamie McBain to come over and deny that opportunity. But again, less is more in a situation like this. Sometimes you might get caught up in a moment trying to be a little bit too pretty, and that was the one message that I got from Todd McClellan, head coach of the Sharks before the game, was just making sure you're able to manage your emotions, but not try to get caught up in the elements of the game. And never a bad play, as we say often, to get that puck towards the net.
Now Doughty leads the National Hockey League in average time on ice. 26 times over 30 minutes he has played. Again, a lot of that because of the injuries and the Voynov suspension is forced into a bigger role. As this puck is sent back, and Jonathan Quick letting his defense know that the icing waved off. So Regeer comes back to play it over to Doughty, who did not like the San Jose player that went by him and got a piece of him.
Melker Carlson, and Doughty tried to slip by him there. He turned right around, did Doughty on Carlson. He felt like Carlson maybe slipped his leg out a little bit there. Doughty not happy at all with that one.
Well, there's a look at Justin Braun. He's married into hockey family. His wife, Jesse's father, Tommy Lysiak, a longtime National Hockey Leaguer, has been going through a battle as of late at a bone marrow transplant. Is in a hospital in in Atlanta, and a teammate of mine back in the day, and also a very close friend and teammate of head coach Daryl Sutter. And we're certainly thinking about Tommy and his wife Melinda down in Atlanta right now.
Absolutely.
Dustin Brown with a shot through traffic, deflected up high off the glass. Now it is sent back the other way, and this will be icing against the Sharks as we go to Carolyn Mano. Carolyn, where are you?
Well, Dave, it's not often that you see hockey pucks flying into the Pacific Ocean, but that's kind of what's happening over here. This whole setup around the rink is designed to pay tribute to the topography of Northern California. So where I'm standing right now, this is kind of like the Bay Area, Pacific Ocean, and then the rink itself flanked by the Northern California Valley, and then on the other side, you see an ode to the Sierra Nevada mountain range. So pretty cool. I'm in shark-infested waters here, Dave. I'm getting out.
No diving there, I guess, Carolyn?
No.
And no diving on the ice either, because that can draw a penalty. As Couture sends one back toward the LA goal that's deflected up high on the glass. Now Kopitar. Couture stepped into him, but Kopitar made the play. Brown takes it all the way to the corner. Now eventually got it back to the line. Shot here into the glove of Niemi. Would have gone wide, but he decides to hang on to it.
I think you get to this stage of these games, the players are settled in, the coaches are settled in. It's never going to just be another game because of the sight lines and everything that goes with it and the 70,000 fans, but this is where you just kind of get zeroed in and you just play.
Now Scott Hannon handles it off the near side.
That was a quick line change through. Doughty jumped right back out there right as soon as the puck was dropped. McBain came to the boards because the Thornton line was out there, and Daryl Sutter obviously wants Doughty out there against this line.
And that puck came outside the LA zone and was brought back in offside. Kraft is looking for the most passionate hockey community in America. Nominate your community for a chance to host an NHL preseason game, plus $150,000 in arena upgrades. Nominations now open. Kraft Hockeyville for the love of hockey.
Hockey across America weekend. Hockey Day in America tomorrow. It all started yesterday at schools and workplaces. Wear your favorite jersey. Today was Give Hockey a Try Day all across our great country, and then cap off tomorrow with the celebration in Lake Placid and the triple header on NBC and NBCSN tomorrow.
Santa Clara is actually the 6th California city to host a National Hockey League regular season game. But the shot here is gobbled up by Quick, and Levi's Stadium is the 11th venue when you go back over the history of the Golden Seals, the Great Western Forum, and of course now the Staples Center for Los Angeles.
I'm really impressed with the lighting here, guys. I mean, it is terrific down here. The sight, the ability to see the puck, especially, of course, for the goaltenders who would worry about it more than anybody else. But the lighting down here at ice level is just outstanding.
Is there a little bit of a shadow right in front of you, Brian, at all? I mean, it's just, I mean, it looks very thin from our vantage point because we're a ways away.
Yeah, maybe right along the edge of the boards there is. That might be a bit of a factor there, but through the middle of the ice, certainly not.
Now Dwight King trying to get it out and able to get it by Dillon. Now it bounces off of King. And the Sharks throw it back to center ice. And now Pavelski carries on. Out of the corner, sends it to the front. It's deflected up high in the air behind Jonathan Quick. Logan Couture got it back down to Wingle. Back for Couture. Sends it along, and now Green with some help there from Carter. And the Kings to center ice.
Move there by Pavelski to go right in and create that jam.
Pass to the front, and Niemi had to be sharp. With the Kings coming at him with some speed. Now McBain sends it along. McNabb trying to hold it in. The linesman says no. We will step aside. 13:42 remaining in the second. The Kings and the Sharks tied at 1. Tomorrow join NBC and NBCSN for Hockey Day in America. Coverage begins at noon Eastern with Capitals Flyers, followed by Bruins Blackhawks on NBC, and coverage concludes at 7 Eastern with the Stars and Wild on NBCSN. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom, our man inside the glass, and Edzo, you're going to be making your way to Chicago immediately after this game.
Be flying all night, and hopefully Doc and Pierre will keep the seats warm. So I can show up in Chicago tomorrow and see the Blackhawks and the Bruins at the United Center.
Now the Kings back into the San Jose zone. Puck angle to the corner, now around on the right wing side. It's chipped ahead by Thornton. And Carlson sends it in. Quick comes way out to play it. Angles it off the boards. And Drew Doughty with it. Spins away from Marleau. Boy, Doughty makes that spin, move, and change of direction look so effortless, Brian. He does it in all three zones.
Yeah, it's a real tight turn. It's the old Bobby Orr spinorama.
Now Kopitar pressured, hangs on, sends it back to Regeer toward the net. Blocked on the side by Niemi. And bounced back out to center right. Deflects up in the air and comes down inside the LA zone. Carlson trying to keep it alive now in the corner. Or rather, that's Tomas Hertl, number 48. Now Hertl with Thornton. Thornton trying to fend off Robin Regeer, and I think he did a good job of making sure that the official saw that the stick of Regeer was caught in the jersey of Thornton. And San Jose is going to get their first power play of this game.
Give an assist there to Tomas Hertl. I mean, he kept his play alive. The puck was bouncing around. He got in there support. The Sharks were able to get numbers off the change. And a quick little stick right there by Robin Regeer. And no Drew Doughty on the ice that last shift. So the Todd McClellan doing a good job of getting that Thornton line out there. Yes, they didn't score, but they did draw a penalty. Now they get the man advantage.
Regeer was okay right until that stick sort of flipped up right under the arm. And that's what got the referee's attention. I think he would have been okay prior to that.
A sight we often see at SAP Center when the Sharks go on the power play. They start that shark motion. The fans doing quite impressive with nearly 70,000 jammed in here.
I think some of the 49er fans maybe let those shark teeth look like a fence. So instead of defense, you got the shark teeth.
And a second chance shot. Quick able to cover it up. Now it's loose. And a mad scramble for it. And Doughty plays it off the boards to himself and then chips it up the near side. One of the LA penalty killers without a stick. Now it comes out to Marleau. Marleau sends it across. One-timer sails high and wide of the net.
Oh, Burns can really bring it. He got all of that one, too. I don't think Quick saw it until it was only a few feet in front of him. He fought that one off with the blocker. Terrific save.
A couple of good chances. Joe Pavelski had an outstanding chance right before the Burns one.
Now Marleau hands it off on the far side. Logan Couture reaches out for it. Now Jake Muzzin tries to play it out of the zone. It's held in by Joe Thornton. Back down to Pavelski's side of the net. A shot, and one of the Kings got a stick in the way of that attempt.
Yeah, I think that was Green because Couture had an empty net. Jonathan Quick had come way out on the angle.
Oh, now Pavelski tripped over the stick of Green. I looked immediately at both officials, neither one putting their arm in the air, much to the dismay of the San Jose crowd as the puck goes back out to center ice. Couture spins away from the pressure, enters the LA zone, makes a move to the inside, tried to go around Green. The puck hit the skate of the LA defenseman. It's cleared all the way back down behind the San Jose goal.
Couple of great plays from Joe Pavelski there.
Now Quick started to go back, could not get there to play the puck, and the momentum of the shoot-in carries all the way around, and Matt Irwin has to back up into his own zone. Angled in behind Quick, approaching the halfway mark of the second period. Both goals coming in the first. Kyle Clifford his third for Los Angeles. Brent Burns his 16th for the Sharks as Dwight King sent it toward the front. Shore was heading in that direction, couldn't get a stick on it. And Regeer is out of the box. San Jose could not get much going on that power play as it played up the near side and deflects back toward the San Jose zone. Justin Braun stops it there. Hands it off Nieto with a shot, and that's gobbled up by Quick. And he will hang on.
Well, the start of the power play dictating the terms. Joe Pavelski is going to get some help there from Joe Thornton. Pavelski gets back to his feet, takes that chance right there, and Quick makes a really, really good stop there with a mad scramble right in front of Jonathan Quick.
And then Pavelski from the point making a beautiful pass. And watch where Jonathan Quick is. See, he's down and out. That's a big save by Green there. That is in the net. Beautiful fake by Pavelski. Freezes Quick, gets it to Couture, and Green makes the save.
That's why you get your stick on the ice defending in your own zone. It's a great all-around play.
Now Gabrick able to fend off the San Jose check. Angles it off the boards now for Kopitar. Back for Dustin Brown. He tried to send it toward the San Jose net. Deflects all the way to the far side of the ice, and the Kings all the way back into their own zone. Now across the line. Play is onside as it's sent in wide by Doughty. And the Sharks quickly stretch it ahead to center ice. Carlson drops it back down. Here is Shepard. Elker Carlson now for Marleau. Marleau looking across. Still holds onto it. Patience here from Marleau. Now he sends it around on the far side. Vlasic with it. Sends it back along. It deflects up high on the glass. And now giveaway there. And Marleau on the wraparound was stopped by Jonathan Quick. When we come back, we'll hear from the head coach of the LA Kings, Daryl Sutter, in this 1-1 game from Levi Stadium.
A 1-1 hockey game going here. What do you see as the biggest factors in the game to this point?
I think we had a really good start, probably first 15 minutes of the first period, and they got a little bit better at the end of the first, and then we killed the penalty here in the second. Stay with it. It's a close game, two close teams.
Do you see the outdoor environment being any effect on your team at all?
No, I thought we were really good early, and you know it is different. Just it is different. We all obviously we know that, but most of us have had some experience with it now.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, certainly a lot more of the LA Kings have played in one of these. As it's steered aside by Quick. Edzo, I know you talked a little bit about it on the pregame show. Do you think if it is an advantage that it's all even now that we've gone this far?
I think so. I think you see how, I think Daryl mentioned that to Brian. Just LA was outstanding early. San Jose did not manage the puck early. They found their game. And one thing I've noticed with San Jose, since they've gotten better the last 5 minutes of the first period here in the second, is their strength in numbers and support all over the ice have been much better. And that's a big part of having success against such a big physical team like LA.
Now on the far side, a shot deflected over the glass and out of play. You know, early when the crowd was coming in, I'm thinking Hockey Weekend in America, and some of the fans are chanting USA, USA. They were starting the Beat LA chant. And once they got enough in here, we could all hear what they were saying.
NoCal versus SoCal.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it. Well, a terrific rivalry that's been made better by 3 playoff meetings in the last 4 years. In fact, since the start of the 2010-11 season, these two teams, regular season and playoffs, have met 44 times. This is the 45th, and that's the most of any two teams in the National Hockey League. Now a chance out in front is blocked off the stick of Couture, and Doughty got right in front of him. as Wingo sends it right back into the LA zone. Slowed down by Quick, recovered by Doughty. Up the right wing boards and out to center ice. Now quickly on the left wing side for Dwight King. Lets it go. It's on the glove side of Niemi. And Logan Couture sweeps it out to center ice.
See, that was another of those higher shots, and I'm not sure that Niemi even barely got a piece of that one.
Yeah, the reaction was, I don't say it was delayed, but just trying to fight it off. King takes a shot, right idea. There's Niemi. He knows it's coming, but just kind of.
Yep. I think that could
swatting
be,
at flies.
Yeah, it could be part of the depth perception thing that we're talking about here. Just different, very different look for the goaltenders on some of these shots. Just literally trying to pick it up, where it's coming from, how fast it's coming.
Yeah, as we said in the first period, sometimes you lose it in the backdrop with everything being so far away.
Now sent back the other way, and this will be an icing call. Well, I mentioned that this is the 11th different venue that has hosted hockey in California, a regular season game. Remember the first 2 years of the San Jose Sharks? The old Cow Palace. Unlike the Chicago Stadium where you had to walk up the stairs to get to the ice in your locker room, you started in the locker rooms upstairs and walked down to the ice surface. Doug Wilson, now the general manager of the San Jose Sharks, the original captain of that team. And would you ever have thought back then, Edzo, that we would have a scene like this in Northern California? 25 years later, as this shot off the stick of Kennedy, just knocks it all the way through to Quick. Now McBain.
I think the success of all three California franchises, and then going back to the biggest trade in NHL history, when Wayne Gretzky was traded from the Edmonton Oilers to Los Angeles Kings back in August of '88. You put those things together, and you can see why the game of hockey has exploded, not only at the National Hockey League level, but at the grassroots as well.
Now Muzzin with a shot that hit his skate in front. Niemi thought about coming out to try to play it. Now we got a penalty coming against the Sharks as it's out to the line on the delayed call. Now Quick realizes he'll make the long sprint to the bench as the green shot is blocked. And on the touch-up by Kennedy, we will get the call.
Well, looks like Matt Irwin is making the guilty skate to the penalty box for a hook. Battle in front of the net. That one play there where the puck was laying right in front of Antti Niemi, I don't think he ever realized where this puck was. The battle in front of the net. Right there, the stick into the midsection there of Kyle Clifford. That's where the call was made.
That's a battle for body position there. Irwin trying to make sure he's between Clifford and the net, which is a smart thing to do, but they didn't like the way he did it.
Andrei Kopitar. Kopitar wins that draw. He's won 11 of 15 now. As LA goes to work on their second power play of the game, but the penalty-killing Sharks get to this puck and Burns drives it down the ice.
Gaborik had broken a stick, so the 5-on-4 became a 4-on-4, and it picked up some of the audio there from microphones around the rink, and also Brian being down there where the Sharks were letting everybody know it's 4-4. Just go ahead and play man-on-man to take advantage, and they were able to do that.
Vlasic nearly turned it over, recovered to get it to Burns, who jams it up the wall. Muzzin, did he keep it in? He did not.
Hey, Brian, I got to ask you. I mean, you do a lot of games from inside the glass position, inside a normal venue in a National Hockey League with the noise and everything else. Is there a great difference from where you are now in-game compared to when it is enclosed?
Yeah, the noise is different. The noise is definitely from farther away. Once there's a goal scored and the whole place erupts, obviously, yeah, it's a lot louder overall. But while the game is on, it's actually quieter and it's easier to hear down here than it is in the normal NHL arenas.
Now Dillon able to slide it back down the ice. McBain has it now. Hands it off to Braden McNabb. Takes a bump from Wingles as it goes around into the far side of the San Jose zone. Shore able to dig it out to the line. Here's McBain with a shot that skips it wide. Now King knocked away by Dillon and cleared around the boards by the Sharks and all the way back into the LA zone. Now McBain back behind the LA goal. Under 40 seconds remaining in the Matt Irwin minor penalty. McNabb plays it around on the far side. Hannon got there first for the Sharks. Now Dwight King knocked it down along the boards. It comes free for Brent Burns. Has the San Jose goal. He plays it nicely out to center ice. Desjardins with a shot that was blocked by Regier. The two of them battle as it comes out to center ice, and the Sharks get it back. Irwin standing up with 10 seconds remaining in his penalty.
Keep away there by the Sharks. Killed off about 15-20 seconds.
Now Regier plays it ahead. Gabrick drops it back. Doughty going to the left. Wait for the drive and Niemi the save, and he holds it there.
What a great area pass by Gabrick to Doughty coming full speed.
We will step aside late in the second period here at Levi Stadium. The Kings and the Sharks tied at 1. You're watching the NHL Stadium Series presented by Coors Light. Former great National Hockey League defenseman, now the Sharks Executive VP and General Manager Doug Wilson. Certainly the Sharks are to be commended as an organization, as the host team for this event here in the Bay Area. San Jose becomes the 19th National Hockey League team, guys, to have played in a regular season outdoor National Hockey League game. And how active might he be as the trade deadline approaches, with the Sharks right on the bubble and in a battle just to try to get in.
Like everybody's watching to see what he does with his goaltender. Contract expiring.
Now Shepard able to impede the progress of Doughty. Puck got tangled up on the skates of one of the referees there, and it's still not out from that area. Now dumped back along the boards behind Jonathan Quick.
Yeah, Doughty was really patient there, and he ran out of room, so he doubled back, which he often will do. Rather than turn the puck over, turn it right into the referee, and that caused the chaos for those next few seconds.
Got a lot of the evidence still sitting in that area.
Yeah,
broken sticks everywhere. It's like a yard sale there.
Now flipped out to center ice, and what have we got? The official
There's a penalty.
making a motion here.
I'll go back to that play that we were talking about. Drew Doughty comes back, circles back, runs into the official Gord Dwyer, and then you just see bodies and sticks and everything falling all over the place. And now we got a delay of game called.
Jake Muzzin under pressure there. He flips it, gets a little bit too much on it, and that one clears the glass cleanly.
So a concerned Daryl Sutter as his team shorthanded for the second time in this period and in the game. As some of the officials taking care of that debris over on the far side, just inside the LA Kings blue line. But Jake Muzzin off for delay of game. Now Pavelski against Kopitar on the draw. Kopitar continues his stellar work on the faceoff. Dot wins another. And Doughty just buying some time now. Flips it all the way back into the San Jose zone. Burns looks to his right, goes to his left. Marlowe hands it off. The score drops it back. Here comes Burns. Top of the circle, shot a save. Rebound chance, doesn't get through. Bodies in front of Jonathan Quick. But the Sharks maintain control here on their power play. Thornton with it. Looks across, tries to go low with it. Good stick there by Regier. Thornton gets it back though. Tries to tip it along. Regier again gets a stick on it. Now Doughty plays it around on the far side. Kopitar trying to clear. He got it ahead. And now it's picked up by Kopitar. He'll just set it in deep at the end of his shift. 3 minutes remaining here in the second period. Nearly turned over by Thornton in the neutral zone. And now Matt Green gets to it and slides it ahead. And
that was a good idea. Toffoli was on the fly there right up the middle. The pass just went behind him. He might have had a chance of a partial breakaway there.
Now back the other way. Carlson hands it off. Quickles with a wrist shot and Quick just gobbles that up and hangs on at the edge of the blue paint.
A couple of different ways to be able to generate off a power play. Maybe try to score off the rush, meaning come through the middle of the ice and have an odd man situation, or are you able to settle it down and then get into your schemes and your sets with the Sharks decide to try to score off the rush there. No rebound given up by Jonathan Quick.
Wingles, the Evanston, Illinois native who played his college hockey at Miami of Ohio. Back in the lineup for 6 games as we get an aerial look at this faceoff inside the LA zone. And now you see Wingles tossed out of there. And it's Hurdle. Now shot from the far side, deflected just wide on Quick. Now Wingles with it again.
Carlson got a piece of that one.
Wingles waits to the side of the net. Hurdle, and the net comes off, and I think Jonathan Quick is arguing it wasn't me, it was the San Jose player. This faceoff should go outside the zone.
I think he's right too. It was Hurdle. Hurdle kind of backed into the side of the net there, and from here at least it looked to me that he was the cause of the net being shifted off for sure.
Yeah, it looks like the faceoff's going to come outside the zone, saying that Hurdle's the guy that knocked the net off. But I mean, look at his vantage point. I mean, coaches will go to school on this on both sides. I mean, this is as good as it gets, where you're able to see where the pressure's coming from, where you might be able to attack at a certain point. You see the setup by the LA Kings in their penalty kill. A lot of talk in the National Football League about the coach's tape and the coach's video. I mean, for a coach like Daryl Sutter or Todd McClellan and their staffs to be able to look and teach off of that and learn off of that, not only for tonight, the immediate, but the last game of the regular season, and oh yeah, maybe another date with one another in the playoffs.
And these numbers so easy to see from the airplane.
Absolutely. Get those incorporated tomorrow afternoon.
Thornton hands it off. Pavelski with a drive and a save made by Quick. The puck cleared by the Kings to the near boards, but held in by the Sharks. Here is Thornton, sending it to the far side. 5 seconds remaining in the power play as the puck ends up on the far boards. Doughty gets to it and bounces it off Thornton out to center ice.
Kings have to do a better job of keeping track of Pavelski. He's their #1 goal scorer. He's got 31 goals in the season. We talked about him finding those soft areas. He does it all the time. He's one of those scorers that it's a disappearing act. They're into play, and then they just back away to these soft areas, and Thornton knows exactly where to look for him. He puts it right on the tape, and that was one of the great chances he had.
Yeah, and then he got a chance about 10 seconds later. And, you know, Joel Pavelski, to me, when you talk about underrated players in the National Hockey League, I mean, this guy is certainly just that. I mean, he does everything so well. Look, he's not the prettiest skater. He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest, but this guy competes. He's a winner every level. He won a high school championship. He won a USHL championship. He won a college hockey championship at Wisconsin. I mean, this guy is a winner and a true leader of the San Jose Sharks, and he just does everything so well.
Gave quite a pep talk in the first intermission of a recent game in Glendale, Arizona against the Coyotes with the team down 2-0. He was imploring everybody to get involved. What does he do? He goes out himself and scores a hat trick and leading them to a very important win in that game. His 31 goals tied for 3rd best, as you saw, leading the San Jose Sharks. But to Brian's point, 16 power play goals, second only to Alex Ovechkin coming into action today in the NHL. So both teams 0 for 2 on the power play. And as we hit 1 minute remaining here in the second period, it remains a 1-1 game. And will this be icing? Good hustle there. Oh, boy, did Carlson ever pay the price. He is slow to get up, but he does get up. And he and Regeer going at each other.
He's given away a tremendous amount of weight there. I don't think he was ready for the size of that hit. And Regeer's one of the bigger guys in the league.
That's the difference between winning and losing there. I mean, you picked up on it. I mean, negating the icing and taking a hit, giving a hit to make a play.
Regeer didn't clear. Takes here, hits the post. Logan Couture on the far side of Jonathan Quick. It hit the iron and went out the far side. Now Wingles right back on the attack for San Jose. Hands it off to Couture. Save. Rebound chance. And it's cleared away from the high slot and back out to center ice.
That chance for Couture all started because of the big hit by Tommy Wingles.
Tommy Wingles, who leads the San Jose Sharks, coming in with 200 hits. That despite the fact he has missed 7 games. Final second of the second period. It got physical in the last couple of minutes.
Well, here's that play by Carlson to negate the icing, and then Robin Regeer comes in and tries to put Carlson through the end boards, and you see the bodies in behind there. That was Tommy Wingles turning the puck over, and then Logan Couture skate right, shoot left, off the right post in behind Jonathan Quick.
Coming up on the Discover Card second intermission report, a look ahead to Hockey Day in America from Lake Placid on the 35th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. Mike Eruzione and Team USA defeating the powerful Soviet Union team 35 years ago tomorrow. And then 2 days later, of course, winning the gold with the win over Finland. Also coming up, as you saw in our second intermission, Melissa Etheridge, the multi-Grammy Award winner, will be performing as we go down to Brian Engblom.
Patrick, an extraordinary circumstance here. How close to a normal Kings-Sharks game does this feel like?
It's getting there, I think. Once the nervousness and the whole new experience wears off after the first, we kind of settled in here, and it's starting to get a little rough out there.
Yeah, it was a slow start for you guys, a much better second period, much more puck possession and on the puck in the offensive zone. Besides the nerves, what were you guys looking to do?
Yeah, just get in there, get in the forecheck, get over pucks, get it out of our own zone. The pucks bounce around a little bit, so we'll take those bounces in the offensive zone.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
San Jose Sharks, a 15-6 advantage in shots on goal in that second period. But 1-1 our score. Both goals came in the first. Stay with us. Discover Card second period intermission coming up right after this. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by the Discover It card. It's a game changer. And by SAP. Visit NHL.com/stats with insights from SAP. Back at Levi's Stadium on this spectacular evening where the LA Kings and the San Jose Sharks are tied at 1 heading into the third period of a game. Very important playoff implications for both Dave Strader along with Eddie Olczyk. And LA seemed to use the advantage of the experience in this kind of a game with that quick start, but San Jose has really come back and kind of taken control.
Yeah, they've really done a good job. And the one thing I will say is that the physical part of the game, the Sharks have been able to answer. I mean, Todd McClellan, one of the elite coaches in the entire National Hockey League, wanted his team to be able to answer the bell physically against Daryl Sutter's team. We all know how good and physical and successful that Daryl Sutter and the Kings have been over the course of the last handful of years. But I think they've managed the puck much better than earlier in the game. They've had really good shifts in consecutive sequences over the course of the last 25 minutes of this game.
So a very important final 20 minutes, if indeed it ends in the next 20. As King sends it along behind the Emmy. Big hit down deep in the Shark zone. Wingles in there again.
Yeah, to your point, Eddie, Tommy Wingles leads everybody in this game. He's credited with 10 hits in the game. San Jose 34.
A chance here on a turnover. Niemi, did he get a piece of that, Brian, on the Dwight King opportunity?
Yeah, it sure looked like he got a pad on it there. A terrible line change there for San Jose called that.
Now Quick sends it along on the near side. Physical battle along the boards. The puck came free now from Marleau. Marleau sends it along, taken back by Kopitar. Ante Kopitar. Dropped it back to the defense, now up the left wing side. Gabrick pushes it ahead and gets the shot away, but steered to the end boards by Niemi. Now Justin Brown on the far side. The LA captain backhands it along. Gabrick behind the San Jose goal makes a nifty move to get it to the blue paint, trying to jam it in. And Niemi was strong down low.
Well, the LA Kings had a terrific scoring chance here. You watch the line change here for the San Jose Sharks. They're just kind of meandering to the bench way too late. Look at King in the middle of the ice going, this is great. He makes a little move there, and I didn't get a good look at it either, but I'm convinced there that Niemi must have got a pad on it somewhere.
Yeah,
and all I know is King was really upset when he came back to the bench. He knew that was the golden chance there to put his club ahead 2-1.
There you see the skill level of Marian Gaborik putting the puck between the skates of Justin Braun and Niemi, grabbing that puck and freezing up. Two big plays there from Niemi in a matter of a good 20 seconds.
And Dwight King on a career-high 5-game point streak with 3 goals and 5 assists over that span coming in. Again, part of that 70s line that has been carrying the offense during this Los Angeles Kings 6-game winning streak. And Shepard tries to lift this puck out of the zone. He'll follow it up now. and get it to center ice. He ends up right at the center ice line, and now it comes back to Hannon. His pass does not get through to Tomas Hertl, and now McBain hands it off to Williams. Williams tried to slide it across it. Bounces back to McBain inside the LA blue line. Now McBain again plays it ahead. It's deflected by Lewis deep into the Shark zone. And Irwin back to get it. Early stages of the third period. And down behind Jonathan Quick Muzzin on the far side. Hit hard there by Kennedy. Wasn't able to bounce off of that check to make the play up the far side. And now the Kings get it to the line, and Justin Braun knocked it down and dumped it back in. The Sharks have to go back and tag up. Matt Green, not many options. Tries to go up the right wing side. Shore was pinned to the glass by Scott. Now Matt Green has it again. Slides it across. Turned over in the neutral zone. John Scott with a long reach, and now the puck out of play is Scott.
A couple of big boys going at it here. Green and John Scott.
Jordan Nolan jumps in there as well.
Now you got to be smart here. I mean, this is not a time and a place to take an extra penalty. And, you know, players have that ability to go ahead and try to goat you into dropping your gloves or to get an extra shot in. But a turnover in the middle of the ice. John Scott does a good job there of forcing another turnover, and a couple of sticks, couple of pushes, and a couple of large humans there.
Yeah, that was right after the whistle. I think that's why Scott, after he took that little shot from Green, the whistle had already gone. So that's why Scott poked him back there, and the 1,000-yard stairs went on from there, and a couple of why-I-oughtas.
A little bit of a delay as one of the Sharks had to go over to the bench. Scott Hannon, I believe. Now he's ready in the faceoff to take place here in the LA zone. 3 minutes gone in the third period. Carter won the draw. Regier up the far side. Now Regier battling with Pavelski. It comes out straight away. Brendan Dillon with a wrist shot right through. Quick able to make the save, and the Kings sweep it back down into the San Jose zone. Doesn't go far enough for icing. Dillon plays it along. Now Hannon up the far side, blocked by Carter. Centering pass here for Toffoli. He was well covered though by Hannon, but the Sharks failed to clear. Regier to the front, looking for a redirect perhaps by Carter, but the Sharks come back the other way. Couture, now a pass to the far side, and Carter was back on Wingles. Now Vlasic lays it to the far side. Dwight King has it now for Los Angeles. Now the Toffoli in the middle of the ice, plays it off the glass. And Vlasic had to quickly move it ahead for Thornton. It was blocked, and now turned over by the Sharks to the neutral zone. Back the other way with speed. A chance here. Score! Marian Gaborik beats Niemi from distance, and the Kings have a 2-1 lead.
Marian Gaborik came off the bench in a line change and startled Burns. Burns never expected him to come. You see how Burns had his stick raised? He was going to take a slap shot into the zone. Gaborik was already on top of him, stole the puck, and this is the chance that he got. He didn't waste it.
Let's go back to the back check by Jeff Carter. This is one of the purest goal scorers in the entire National Hockey League. This is a 3-on-2, and he comes back defensively. And about 10 seconds later, the Kings make that change that Brian was talking about, and the puck ends up in the back, and then an outstanding effort there from Jeff Carter defensively. Isn't involved in the goal at all, but a great play.
Like a 2-goal swing.
No question.
Unassisted goal, 17th of the season for Gaborik, and just the second, guys, in the last 14 games with the 70s line that we talked about taking over offensively. If Kopitar, Gaborik, and Brown, who's on the right side now, they can start to get involved on a more consistent basis offensively. As good as the Kings have been, look out.
It's not it. You know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. What a shot.
Dustin Brown chips it in. Jarrett Stoll trying to go after it. Hannon able to fend him off. Now Shepard plays it up the far side. Nieto able to work it out to center ice. Doughty pressured by Irwin. Now Doughty back to get it, had to look over his shoulder. He knew somebody was coming. And with Tomas Hertl, he's showing a couple of good hits here tonight in this game. Now the Kings back the other way. Backhanded toward Niemi. He steers it out of harm's way. And on the far side, it's Andrew Desjardins who hands it back down to Hannon. And he'll angle it off the glass with the Sharks looking to make a change. Shore on the far side. A little out of reach for the intended target. Burns cleared, but it's dumped right back in by the Kings. And Vlasic goes to Burns back behind the Shark goal. Clifford in on the forecheck. At the line, that came outside and was a delayed offside, and now the Sharks will get it to center ice. Albert Kennedy sends it across, and this will be offside.
Going to go back to the goal for Marian Gaborik. The San Jose Sharks are going this direction. But as Brian pointed out, Gaborik jumps off the bench. Great stick. Kicks it from his left foot up to the stick and blows it right by Antti Niemi. It looked like it just went right under the glove and over the left pad.
And so it was right in front of me. I watched Burns come up. He was looking up the ice. I could see the startled look on his face. He had his stick raised in the air a couple of feet. He was just going to take sort of a lazy slap shot into the zone. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, where did that guy come from? Gaborik took it, and Burns is going the wrong way. You're never going to catch it.
Gaborik, the biggest acquisition of the trade deadline a year ago. What a job he did for Los Angeles down the stretch and throughout the playoffs. Could be numbers here for L.A. Carter going to the front, the pass through and deflecting it wide. And then Dillon, the defenseman for San Jose, went crashing into the post and knocks the net off the supports. And we will step aside. Gaborik first with the defensive play in the neutral zone, and then that terrific shot to make it 2-1. Los Angeles here at Levi Stadium.
Welcome back to Levi's Stadium. Carol Amano with you, and I have made my way to the suite level finally, where I am joined now by Luc Robitaille, who's the president of business operations for the Kings. I walked into this suite at a pretty good time because you guys just scored. I realize there's a lot on the line tonight, but can you just describe the evening so far? It's been so fun, even though it has been a pro Sharks crowd. I imagine you've had a great time.
Yeah, and we love the game, and we always say in California we'll accept any hockey fans, and this is absolutely incredible. It's been a special night, and obviously the game itself is very important for both teams, but this is one of those things the players will remember forever.
You seem to have some momentum on your side right now as we see how this game continues to develop. Where are you guys right now mentally?
Well, the team's playing well. I mean, they've been playing well for a while. We had a couple of games on a road trip before we got on this big streak where we weren't happy with our games, and then they seem to turn it around, and ever since then they played the way that we expect them to play, and we expect a lot of the same for the next couple of months.
Well, hopefully you pick up the points tonight for you guys. Luc, thank you.
Okay, maybe you want to come back in 5 minutes.
I'm going to say, I don't think these guys are going to let me out of the suite. Dave?
Luc Robitaille making a transition from a Hall of Fame career into the business side of things, and what a job he has done in helping the LA Kings in what they've done off the ice, in addition to the great success they've had on, as we have an icing call here and the face-off back into the San Jose zone.
When you have leadership and you have somebody like Daryl Sutter manning the bench, and Dean Lombardi, the terrific general manager of the Los Angeles Kings, and you think about the great players of the LA Kings that are still a part of their organization, from Luc Robitaille and Rob Blake. It doesn't get any better than that when you have those type of people that are involved. And 2 Stanley Cups in a couple of years isn't too bad either.
Being surrounded by a couple Hall of Famers always helps behind the scenes.
Now Robitaille back to the line as the Kings try to add to their lead. Carlson trying to clear. Gaborik holds it in, but it's slapped away and now picked up. This play is onside. An opportunity for LA again. Big save by Niemi. And he is able to cover up. What an opportunity there again for Gaborik.
What a pass by Dustin Brown. Looks like the puck is out, and it's kept in because of the turnover from Patrick Marleau. And then here's the opportunity, and Niemi with another clutch save there.
That's why it wasn't offside. It was because Marleau brought it back in over the blue line because some of the Kings players were caught. And I think Gaborik, after he took that shot, I saw him turn around afterwards, and I think he second-guessed himself about which side of the net he wanted to go on. He had beaten him on the glove side only a couple of minutes ago. And I think he's double thinking, it should have gone back there again.
Yeah. From our vantage point, could not tell if that puck came out or not, but just a quick developing play. Blue lines are so important. You got to get the puck out at your blue line and get it in at the other blue line. You're not able to make those tape-to-tape clear passes, but Niemi well out of his net there to make that stop.
Gaborik was 7-time 30-goal scorer, and 3 of those 40-goal seasons as this puck over the glass and out of play. Just over 8 minutes gone by here in the third.
Well, you mentioned Gaborik last year, the move made by general manager Dean Lombardi. I mean, that's not only a trade that gets people's attention, but most importantly, it gets the guys in the room attention that you're bringing in a difference maker. And I think for Marian Gaborik, for the first time in his career, he came to the Los Angeles Kings. He wasn't the guy. He became one of the guys, and that's why I think he's flourished and has done so well with the LA Kings since coming here last year.
Shepherd slides to the cross. Cannon angles it off the board. Nieto couldn't quite get there. The Kings slide it back out to center ice. Justin Williams.
Boy, and that was another nasty hit by Shepherd on Lewis. There have been some tremendous collisions in this game, and a lot of them. Oh, another one.
Another one right there. Shepherd on McNabb right over at the end of the Sharks bench.
That hurt. He got his back. He got his ribs right against the top of the board there. McNabb did.
Now Doughty with it. Across the line. Looks to the front. Hangs on. Sent it in toward the end. He's near to the side. Now Clifford tried to drag it out in front. And Clifford's been noticeable besides scoring the goal on about every shift out there. He and Shore and George Nolan doing a nice job of the fourth line here for Daryl Sutter. Nolan out near the line. Backhands it to the corner. Now Shore gets to it again. Out to the line, and the Doughty shot is deflected.
Ended up in the ocean over there.
Watch James Shepherd here on this last shift there. He is making contact. He's got his first guy lined up. That's Lewis. Nearly puts him right over the boards. And then same shift later on, catches McNabb. And you can see McNabb had to catch himself, but his ribs went right into the top of the boards there. 2 really big, heavy hits there by James Shepherd. That's the way this game has been here tonight.
Now center ice, Doughty, second effort, will flip it into the Shark zone. Braun trying to hold off Dwight King, and that is not easy to do. Now Toffoli sends it back to the corner. Braun steps in front of King. The two of them engage in the corner. The pro San Jose crowd trying to get their team going. It's a 2-1 LA lead, approaching the halfway mark of this third period. Kings trying to make it 7 wins in a row. They've done them all the previous 6 in regulation time. Started on the road trip, as Luc Robitaille mentioned, to Carolyn Mano, and it has continued. And the road has not been kind, as now Thornton goes down. There's going to be a penalty here.
Yeah, both officials had their arms up.
Dustin Brown, the captain, that expression says it all. He goes to the box. San Jose down by 1 on the power play when we return. We welcome you back to the NHL Stadium Series presented by Coors Light. Levi Stadium, crowd of over 70,000 on hand for this, the 15th regular season NHL outdoor game. Dustin Brown in the box. San Jose going to work on their third power play. They are 0 for 2. They trail by a goal.
There's some stick. Logan Couture 4-on-4 right now.
It comes back to Burns. Burns toward the net. Skipped in wide and quick. Marleau has it. Couture is back with a new weapon. And angles it off the boards now for Burns. Back intended for Logan Couture. Skipped away from him. Now Couture comes back to make a play. It goes out to the far side and kind of a bouncing puck. Backhanded in wide and quick. And now the puck out of play. And the faceoff being indicated outside the LA zone.
Boy, Pavelski all around the front of the net. He's the one that got that backhand. Didn't get a lot on it, but to go to the front of the net. Puck is on edge. It finds its way to Joe Pavelski, and he usually does to great players in the National Hockey League. The puck will find you whether you want it or not. Most guys want it in the offensive zone. You could be at the start of a shift, the end of the shift. You see the numbers for Pavelski to this point, but puck is certainly finding him.
Joe Thornton circling towards the puck, too, for that quick, close support to Ed. So that's what really kept that play alive. It gave Couture somebody to give the puck to because Couture had his back turned. He was along the wall.
Yeah, strength in numbers, especially when you got the power play.
Now Marleau angles it out to the far side. Marleau, that shot was blocked and it's picked up and cleared by Robin Regehr. All the way back into the San Jose zone. Brent Burns lugs it out of his own zone, plays it ahead. Now to Couture left wing side, sends it far side. Joe Thornton settles it down, gets it back to Marleau. Back to Thornton to the front of the net, never got there, and it's blocked and cleared.
Well, Muzzin hurt his leg a little bit. What a terrific shot block that was, because that cross-ice pass had Thornton looking at the net. Muzzin took everything away from him. That's why Thornton stopped up.
Irwin shot blocked on the side by Quick. Now Regehr around on the far side. It bounces off a San Jose player, and that allows Garrett Stoll to send it all the way back down the ice.
Fortunate bounce there for Robin Regehr. He just fired it around and took that crazy Karam, and Stoll was there with great support.
Now Irwin for Hertl, plays it around on the far side. Winkles. Now Hertl again. Back for Carlson on the far side. Out to the line for Winkles. With a shot on the angle, never gets through. Dustin Brown is out of the box. Gets a stick on it, held in at the line, sent back towards Quick. It was blocked out of the high slot. Now Winkles spins. Tried to make a play to the middle of the ice. Good job here by Carlson to keep it in the zone. Now back to the line. Dillon looking for a shooting lane. And that was blocked by Kopitar out to center right.
4 blocks in the last minute, 55 seconds by the LA Kings. A couple of them forced by the San Jose Sharks. The one that Thornton had, and Brian had mentioned that Muzzin took him a while to get back to the bench. Just outstanding job by the LA Kings.
Now a shot here by Trevor Lewis off the end board and near the back of the San Jose net, but the Sharks get to it and angle it back out to center right. Now Kennedy comes in, puts a hit along the boards, a scrum for the puck, and finally a whistle. Time to take a look at our Coors Light cold hard facts. And how about the attendance here tonight? 70,205. Normal capacity 68.5. Talked to a few people from the NHL and said they did add some seats. Actually a bigger crowd than they've had, I believe, for any 49ers game with the extra seats that were added and sold for this contest. You look at all of the outdoor games, the average attendance, nearly 56,000. Every one has been a celebration.
Yeah, just a great celebration.
Good puck movement here. Vlasic. His shot was blocked again. The Kings getting in the shooting lanes.
So you have to make quicker decisions if you're the Sharks. You can't hold on to the puck. You got to get it and let it go. Not allow the Kings to get in those lanes.
Burns took it away from Kopitar. Starts it back the other way. Feeds it on the far side. Winkles closing in. Put it up over the glove of Jonathan Quick. Now chipped along by Pavelski. Winkles hands it off to Couture. That was blocked. Couture hands it again on the backhand. Tries to slide it in front. And it is pushed underneath Jonathan Quick with 6:18 to go here in the third.
This whole sequence starts with Brent Burns. Watch Brent Burns' hand. Really plays it well with Kopitar. Catches it. Now he catches both Kings players, actually all 3 forwards, go in the wrong direction. Look how quickly he jumps back up the ice. Takes it on the fly. Now LA's in scramble mode, trying to get back into position. Gets it to Winkles. There's a deflected pass that was dangerous. And in the cycle and continued on after that, they got another puck to the net.
Yeah, Winkles to Couture, and then Kopitar with the shot block, and then followed up there with Pavelski falling on Jonathan Quick. A little bit of a surge here by the Sharks.
Out to Hannon, backhands it along. Joe Thornton out of the corner with it. Out near the line, Hannon. Couple of LA Kings are there, and Toffoli starts it back the other way. Tyler Toffoli takes it wide. Thornton using the long reach to disrupt that rush. Tried to play it along, but Carter got a stick on it.
Good effort by Thornton on the back check.
Backhanded ahead, and the Kings send it back into their own zone as they look to make a change. Green for Muzzin. Muzzin plays it ahead. Justin Williams deflects it in wide of the San Jose goal. Hurdle takes a hit there from Stoll. Nieto played it up the boards, but Trevor Lewis was there. He gets it back to the line. McNabb, good shot fake. Takes it wide. Couldn't get it through the bodies in the face-off circle between he and Niemi. And back the other way now, Shepard will sweep it into the King zone, but it is whistled offside. We'll step aside. 5:16 remaining in regulation. The Kings with a 2-1 lead. And we welcome you back to Levi Stadium, 2015 Coors Light NHL Stadium Series. LA Kings with a 2-1 lead over San Jose. We mentioned how tight the teams are in the standings, just 2 points separating them. Los Angeles with 3 games in hand. So they could pull even with the Sharks with a regulation win and still have 3 games in hand and put a lot of pressure on the Sharks.
Todd McClellan was just telling his troops at the TV timeout, he said the defense are going to get up on the play on every rush, guys. But he talked to the forwards and he said that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to feed them every time. Make the right play.
Regier taking a quick look around. Now it goes to the far side of the LA zone. Trevor Lewis with a hit, but the Sharks get to it. Off the stick of Thornton and picked up on the near side by Marleau, who sends it back around. Braun is there. Lewis steps into him with another hard hit.
That's 2 pinches up the wall for Braun already.
Carlson gets a stick on it. Marleau, Thornton, back to the line. A shot here, sails in wide. And off the glass, picked up now by Marleau, sent back into the side of the net. Bounces out in front. Still loose, and the Kings able to get it to the boards. And Justin Williams makes a smart play and just lobs it back into the San Jose zone. Justin Braun plays it back off the boards, but the Sharks were making a change. Now it comes back for Williams. He hands it off a shot here over the glove of Antti Niemi. Now Braun didn't get much on it. Wingles. That was blocked. Now Braun angles it ahead as Couture. Deflected back behind the LA goal. Muzzin has it there. Right up the middle of the ice for Kopitar. Under 4 minutes remaining in regulation. LA on the attack, up by a goal. Trying to make it 7 consecutive wins. And get back into a playoff position in the tightly bunched race in the Pacific Division and wild card. The Western Conference, a chance here is backhanded toward Quick. He was well out challenging and easily gobbles that one up.
Good hustle there from Tommy Wingels to get that second chance opportunity. Crazy Karam here. Shot off the boards, off the side of the net, and Carlson's not able to kick that puck from his skate to his stick.
Boy, Tommy Wingels has really been aggressive in this game in a lot of ways, hasn't he? He's created a lot of stuff, and when they need momentum swings or forechecks or more physical play, it's Wingels who's been in the center of it a lot of the times, and there he is hustling to get that second chance.
And you got to know Todd McClellan sees the way in the type of game that Wingels has had here. You're going to be out there towards the end of the game a couple of times.
Now Regier. 2 San Jose Sharks on him. Coming in to help out, though, with Carter. He hands it off on the left wing side. Now it's over the stick of George Nolan. Back the other way. They try to hit Marleau, but it's cleared back inside the San Jose zone. Hannon back behind his own net. Hands it off to Irwin. Out to center right, trying to knock it down there was Matt Nieto. Now it goes to the far side of the King zone. And Dwight King able to lift it out as we're inside 3 minutes remaining in regulation time. Now Hurdle deflects it back in behind Quick. It is settled down. And And defenseman Matt Green hands it off for Carter up the middle of the ice. Left wing side, good positioning by Hurdle. And LA just making a defense change. As the puck played ahead for Toffoli, he gets it deep into the San Jose zone. Big hit by King on Dillon. Now Pavelski slaps at it. Couture lost his footing in the neutral zone and sent back in deep.
Nice leap by Toffoli right over Couture after Couture blew a tire there in the neutral zone.
Now Quick one-handed up the near side. Williams makes a confident play off the boards. Regeer now to Stoll in the middle of the ice. Far side for Lewis. Trying to get around Burns. Burns keeps him to the outside. Lewis to Williams. Oh, nice little chip pass here and a save by Niemi. Great little pass to set up that chance for Jared Stoll. Inside 2 minutes remaining now. We'll start to keep an eye on Antti Niemi.
He's looking over the bench, just making some eye contact.
Yeah.
Todd McClellan's got the left hand up.
He's starting to make his way. The puck doesn't get deep. Niemi is on the bench. Extra attacker is on. Here's Burns. That was blocked. Along the boards now. It ends up behind the LA goal up the near side. King's able to clear. It will go far enough for icing and set up a face-off in the LA end with 1:21 remaining.
Yeah, get the dry erase board out if you're Todd McClellan. His coaching staff right next to him. Larry Robinson, Jimmy Johnson, Jay Woodcroft with the dry erase board right there. And you see the timeout coming from Todd McClellan. And Coach Woodcroft will draw up a play here. And the reminders will be, what are we trying to get accomplished if we win it? And what happens if we don't?
Getting on loose pucks, those 50-50 pucks, turning the puck and pulling it off the wall is sometimes the most important part and the most difficult part if you're San Jose in this particular situation.
Remember, the only goal of the game scored by the San Jose Sharks came off a face-off win from Tommy Wingels after Joe Pavelski was kicked out of the face-off. And now the face-off will be to the right of Jonathan Quick.
Now the goal you're talking about, Edzo, happened in the opposite face-off circle at this end of the ice. And right now it is Thornton, Marleau, Couture, Burns, Pavelski, and Wingels. No surprise to see number 57 out there.
Burns is right-handed here. If Thornton wins this draw, watch for Burns to walk to the middle of the ice on his forehand.
That's what happened. Quick shot for Burns. Oh, and some contact there. Pavelski, who was tied up with Muzzin.
And Wingels. Who else? Good quick shot there by Burns. He didn't hesitate. He had guys going to the net.
Well, face-off win. Burns right-handed. Just a quick little wrister, and Jonathan Quick does a great job there of not giving up a second chance opportunity.
Yeah, Pavelski was right there for any loose change at all. There's the quick wrister. Nice job there by Quick. Look at Pavelski there.
Yeah, one of those accidentally on purpose. Same situation here. Logan Couture came up when Burns shot that puck. It looked like he was maybe running a little bit of a different play there because Couture was right next to Burns.
Plainly back to Burns again. He walks to the middle of the ice, goes back for Couture, and mishandles it slightly, and that allowed Carter to deflect it back to center ice. Now deflected away by Gabrick.
Great stick by Gabrick.
Bouncing puck, Carter is there, but Pavelski has it. 1 minute remaining in regulation time. It's a 2-1 LA lead as the puck goes back deep into the Kings zone. Regeer plays it around on the far side, and it bounces off of Burns out to center ice. The Sharks have to come back out and regroup. Thornton plays it back into the LA zone, and the play was whistled down offside.
We talked about face-off play, such an important part. The first face-off win, Burns took the shot right away. But then the next one, Couture walked up the boards. It's the same situation. Look at Couture. He's going to walk up. Now it's a set face-off play, but Couture just fans on the play. A nice setup there, and those are the looks and plays that are drawn up there by Jay Woodcroft, the assistant coach for the Sharks. And perfect execution, just not getting the puck to the net.
Kopitar won that faceoff cleanly from Pavelski, and Niemi back in goal and there to make the stop. He's going to have to hustle to get to the bench down to half a minute.
Got to go now.
He starts to go as Burns plays it ahead. Stretch pass deflected by Marleau. Quick just one-handed along. Couture is there, slides it in front, bouncing puck recovered by the Kings and angled smartly off the board. And Burns slides it across now. Pavelski will sweep it into the LA zone. 10 seconds remaining. McGear now for Doughty. He wraps it around. It doesn't get by Burns. Try to get it to the front of the net, knocked away. And Burns one more try, got it through, and a save by Quick. Gamble for the puck, and that will do it. The Los Angeles Kings have made it 7 wins in a row. And the road team in outdoor regular season games have won 11 of the 15 contests as the LA Kings congratulate Jonathan Quick.
Just a terrific hockey game. At times, the Kings dominated. At times, the San Jose Sharks did the same. But the Red Hot Kings keep their streak alive at 7.
Let's get out of the ice level. Can't see through the pyro smoke that we have here, but I believe Brian has a special guest.
Marion, a big 2 points in a pressure situation. Outdoors in Northern California, what did this game feel like for you and your teammate?
It was unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, 70,000 people. I think it's great for hockey here in California, and huge 2 points for us.
Was it difficult at all to make it feel like a normal Sharks-Kings game, or did it ever feel normal?
We kind of took the atmosphere a little bit yesterday, the practice, and, we had a good practice and just came here tonight and it was all business. So, these games against Sharks are always chippy. I think we created some rivalry against them over the past couple of years in playoffs, and, just a great game for us.
You're winning games night after night, game after game now. What's the difference right now?
Well, we just on the roll. We're playing our game, and we just have to keep it up.
Thanks, Marion.
Thank you.
And that is only the 9th road win for the LA Kings. One of the things that's been stunning about their record is the fact that they have not been able to win on the road until this streak.
Well, in the third period here, shot block after shot block, whether it was the penalty kill for the LA Kings, willing to pay a price. The Sharks did everything possible. They won faceoffs. They had people to the front of the net. Here's the last shot on goal. Brent Burns does a wonderful job there of getting that puck all the way through. You'd like to see Patrick Marleau standing right in front of Jonathan Quick, so maybe he doesn't see that, but you see the reaction and the emotion from Quick and Doughty. It's an outstanding game here at Levi Stadium.
We'll be back to wrap things up here from Levi Stadium. Again, the final score in this Stadium Series game, 2-1, Kings over the Sharks.